Okay guys, welcome back to another, or I guess continuation of how to draw somebody shaking in an animation. So, shaking or being angry in an animation. So I'm going to think real quick. Hold on, because I didn't think before I turned on this damn video. Okay, I got it. I have the scene in my head. So I'm basically going to sketch out the powering up scene, and we're going to try to keep this short. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into this. So basically, whenever you're trying to do a power up scene, you definitely want to set the tone and set the mood. So what I'm going to do first is just draw the sketched out outline of my character using my handy marker tool, you know, keeping it simple, keeping it straight. Don't want to get too detailed in the sketch. So I basically have my little character, and how I sketched this out, I just drew the head, drew the traps right here, the trapezoids, and then I drew the deltoids right here, these little circles. And then I just drew circles for the hands since they're going to be gripped and tightened because it's the action scene. And yeah, so let me see here if I can get this switched over. So don't forget, label all your animations so you don't get all confused and stuff. So what I'm going to label this is background, because we need to have a background inside of it. If I'm doing anything too fast, or it feels like there's something I haven't explained inside another video that I've done, definitely let me know in the comments. But I'm just using all techniques that I've explained in previous videos and stuff. Just how to create a new folder, make a new cell, and then just, you know, keep on going. So here, I'm just drawing a rough terrain, and so you guys will, you know, you'll be able to see it better. I'll probably use a different color, so we'll use something like yellow right here. So I'm drawing a terrain. Here's a little mountain, you know, a few mountains over here, a little mountain over here, just to kind of show. Kind of show some depth inside the drawing. And boom. Alright, so we have a small little terrain. We can have a little sun up there. And at the same time, what we can do, what I wanted to, so we have background, right? Like I was showing you in the previous videos with the Dragon Ball Z, where Dragon Ball Z and the S Triad, where they have just effects of the terrain being taken out of the environment. We want to try to make that same effect in this little example. So we're going to do motion terrain, or motion, that's not a very common word, so let's say motion objects, right? And we're going to make those objects a different color as well. Just so you don't have to make it a different color, but just for the sake of the video, I'm going to be making it a different color so you guys can see it better. So I'm going to make that like purple. So we're going to do little bits of rock, just scaling and climbing. Here we go. We just want him popping out of everywhere because he's powering up, right? So there's little bits of rock just moving. So we're going to have two things moving in here. We're going to have the animation itself, the guy right here, the red, and then we're going to have the motion objects moving. So what we can do, we can either start with the small, easy stuff, or we can start with the hard stuff. If you're just starting out, you can always start with the easy stuff. Or even if you're not just starting out, you can start with the easy stuff. It doesn't really matter what order you do it in, as long as you're comfortable with it and you feel like you can just keep snapping it out, going and going and going. Oh, oops. Okay. So what you can do to make this easy, since actually, because I just did it a really hard way instead, and I'm trying to show you guys the easiest ways to do this. Boop. Take that off. Oh, fuck it. Alright, so what I'm doing, I'm on the motion object layer. Son of a bitch. Hold on, wait. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep it like that. But you can see it still. I'm on the motion objects layer, and it's on 1, right? I'm clicking on 1, so I can still copy, and then I can paste. Notice it shows up here, but doesn't show up on here, so I'm just gonna right click in an empty spot. Move that over maybe 1 cell, give it a little bit of moving room. So whenever I hit this, 1 is going to continue on this frame, and then it's going to switch to 2. Just saying, by the way. And we're going to move that up a little bit. Not going to do anything too fancy as far as how far they move, because I'm going to make them move up pretty far in a short amount of time, just because I don't want to make this son of a bitch! I don't want to make this video too long. Oops. Alright, move up. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm not going to do the in-betweens. I'm just going to do a nice kind of moving motion up, just to give you a nice example of the terrain. So starting with the easy stuff, all you have to do, what I'm doing is just lassoing. I'm lassoing these rocks with this tool right here, the market tool. Go to the market. I'm just lassoing it, moving the terrain up ever so slightly. I have to get approval, not the title, okay. Got a text from my mama. Alright, son of a wa. Okay. So here I have scene 2 right there. I'm going to make this about 3 scenes long as far as the animation. So I'm just going to copy this again. I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste this, and then I'm just going to move it up 1 more time. Oops. After I actually place the scene in there. Okay, so now I'm going to move it up 1 more time. There we go. Make sure you have your onion layer on so you have the blue effect of where you just put your last one. So you're staying frequent in between. Don't forget to hit every single terrain that you have moving, or that you want to have moving, of course. Okay. It's really small. Try not to zoom in on here. Alright, there we go. Gonna move that up. Now, there's obviously things you need to take into consideration. Not all terrain is going to move, especially when they're powering up like that. Not all terrain is going to move up and down in a basically parallel motion. So definitely make sure you have a little play with just, you know, making it swirl and stuff like that. Don't make it just go up. I'll show a better example of that in the future, but just for the sake of just, you know, time and stuff, we're just going to do this real quick. So then we're going to use our other technique that we used from before. We're going to make sure it loops back. Oops. We're going to make sure it loops back to 1. So everything's one fluid, steady motion. Right? Because we don't want to make it, what is it doing? There you go, champ. Alright, because we don't want to make everything just stay in place. So here we kind of have the motion going. It's going up and down, moving. Immediately already I see that it needs 2 frames in between each one. So I'm just going to adjust that. Because those rocks are moving way too fast. Even though he's powering up, it's just not showing a realistic power up. So there, we made it 2 frames. There you go. See, now the rocks are kind of moving a little bit more. This is the perfect speed, guys, but you need to make an in-between of the rocks. Like in-betweens, you know what, I'll probably make that in a different video, but in-betweens, in a nutshell, are just a quick sketch of motion moving from moving from one point, from moving A to B. Think of it as the in-between, whatever alphabet would be, whatever letter would be in between A and B. Maybe it's AB that's in between A and B. But that would be what an in-between is. It's the animation right in between it. It's not completely sketched out amazingly. It's just a quick, boom, rock through that motion. But I think I'll make that in a different tutorial, because we've already gone 11 minutes. So next, what we're going to do is work on our character. So here we have him. We're going to erase some of the stuff that doesn't need to be there. Like this won't need to be there. Just stuff that makes it distracting when you guys are looking, you know. So we have the main outline body shape of him. I'm just going to draw in the rest here. So we have his pectoral muscles kind of sticking out here. And we have his arms. We actually definitely want this folder to be under the motion folder. There we go. Okay, and just so this shows up under there, because none of the rocks are actually behind him as far as this part of the scene, so all the rocks are kind of ahead of him, except a couple of these. Like this is behind him, but it's not really getting in the way of the character, you know. So here you can clearly see our character. He's powering up. There we go. Now notice I'm just drawing the body. Because what you can do to make things way simpler, instead of drawing the clothes right then and there, you can draw the clothes on another layer, because this is literally just your sketch, guys. This is just the sketch layer. You should really just try to make as many sketch layers of different parts as you can, so later on you can just do your line work, because the line work is way faster whenever you just have all your essential elements there. But here you just want to get the ideas down. You don't want to spend too much time just, you know, drawing every little detail and stuff. So like here, I'm just getting myself prepared for if I actually do line work on this. I don't know. I was supposed to do line work on that shadow boxing thing, but you know, I'm still doing that waifu video. So, I never got around to actually line working the shadow boxing. Plus, I don't know. I guess it was a really helpful tutorial, but it wasn't something you guys wanted to see put into line work. So if you guys don't end up wanting to see this put into line work, I probably won't put it into line work, but I definitely am going to give you a good head start on how to, you know, get this done. Fists are on the outside. There we go. Yep. Sometimes it helps if you make the motion you know, in real life of what your character is doing, just so you know all the fingers and bits are in the right spot and you're getting the right kind of leeway. So here we go. It's a nice little pose. I'm happy with that now. Okay, so we'll probably erase this out of here. There you go. So here, is that how I want it? I think that's how I want it. Just gonna erase this a little bit right there. Cool. Okay. Come on. Come on now. Cool. Just want a little bit right there. This isn't as big as I wanted it to, this deltoid, but fuck it, because we're doing a tutorial, right? We need to stop doing that shit. Alright, so next, here we have our little animation here, and if it helps you, you can actually just take off, you know, just turn that layer off if the purple is too distracting. And I guess I'll do that just so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So next, I'm going to do just what I did is the motion layer. I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste, and I'm going to go to 2. And notice I'm putting it on the same layer only because I want to show his shoulders kind of moving at the same time. So it shows that he himself is kind of, his motions are moving the terrain around him. So that's why I'm putting it on the same layer. Otherwise, I would have just put it on a different layer, different time than itself. So here we go. Let's try this again. So I'm just using this lasso tool just because it's pretty simple for me to just kind of lasso around. But if it's kind of hard for you to, you know, hit this in between there, there's other tools you can do to make sure you are hitting exactly where you want to. Boop. So I'm just going to shift this motion up. Right? I'm moving this little dial. You see this little dial thing? That's almost like a little tiny bone that you can make shift and move around. So like anything I move like this, it'll kind of shift itself and move that way. So like this, I'm going to shift this out and scoot this way, and move this a little bit this way, and push this in just ever so slightly. Okay, so what I'm basically doing, I'm showing a little bit of the motion of his arms and his deltoids. They're kind of shifting in. Shit, I knew I would do that. I knew I would hit the fill button. Okay. I'm showing this closing in, this moving in just a little bit. I'm also going to move this a little bit. His forearm. Just to show he's having like a shaking motion. And gonna turn off the onion layer a little bit so I can see exactly where I need to put to fill in. Because whenever you do this technique, then you need to erase where things need to be erased, and you need to fill in where things need to be filled. Otherwise, you're not, you know, the technique's not being used properly. It's not being used to where, you know, it's to your advantage, and keeping everything, you know, flowy and keeping everything flowy. So next, what I'm gonna do is, since he moved his deltoid up, I'm also gonna make sure my onion layer is back on. I'm going to shift this just a little bit this way. Oops. First I'm going to attach it to the deltoid and shift it just a little bit up. Now, when you flex up, your head goes down. Like, try doing it right now. When you flex up, when you flex your back up, your head, you instinctively flex your head down. So, what one flexes up, you must flex down the other. So, make sure you guys, make sure you flex his head down. So, we're going to circle around here. And this is the thing, guys. You can create this scene with 3 motions. You barely even need 3 motions for this. You're going to flex this down kind of towards his other, you know, his shoulder. Oh shit, I thought I saw Spider-Man. You guys know, you know I love Spider-Man, guys. I'm going to shift that down a little bit towards his head. There we go. Alright. Good stuff. Okay. So far, you almost can fuck with this. You can almost fuck with this to where you don't have to make the other one. Like, I'm gonna check right now, because we may be able to do that. Let's see here. No, because you can clearly see him kind of doing a little directing motion, so you can't fuck with that. You're gonna need 3 scenes. Okay. So the third one. Oh yeah. So copy the second one. Paste. Put on the third one. So we had him going down to... So we're going to have him going down a little bit more. Only a little bit. Just so we can have a flowy motion. Because it kind of stands out if you don't have 3 layers. Sometimes it won't. But in this particular instance, since everything is kind of moving, you kind of don't want anything moving too much faster than the other. I would go more into an example of that, but I think I've spent a lot of time to where we've almost ran out of it. So, not ran out of it, but you know, I can't make these videos too long or not everybody will watch, even though a lot of people, you know, want to see a nice little detailed example of it. Shit, I did it again. Every time, guys, that arm. Every time on that arm, didn't I? I hit the fill. For shame on me, right? Okay. So we're lassoing the head again. Now this time, you don't want to make the head too much out of motion here. So we're just going to tilt it just that much. Just to show that there's a little bit of tilt going in. Basically right there. We tilted it as much as the in-between would be tilted. You don't tilt an in-between too much. You just put it almost as like a little tiny filler. Like, you know how an anime has a little filler spot in it where it's just like some bullshit, like they're going camping or something? That's essentially what we just did. We just put a filler on there. So it kind of... Here we go. Okay, so now we're just going to put this back to 2. And boom. You essentially have something is not colored here. Okay. There. Kind of shows here. So there, you kind of have the terrain moving. And then you can just do all kinds of fancy special effects after that. You know what we can do? We can copy this background layer 3 times. Copy, paste. You don't really have to do this, but this will kind of make it easier for you guys to see. And what you want to do is just go by and everything where the yellow is showing up, just kind of erase it so you can get a good idea of your scene. So where we had this terrain, where we had the sun. Okay. And then you're going to copy this. No, you're going to copy this again. Paste. I must have not ate or something. Holy shit. I like taste nothing in my mouth right now. That sounded wrong. I think I'll eat after this. 3. And you're going to do the same thing. What I did was get the same, the original layer, the first layer. Because the second layer, we erased some of the stuff, but a lot of things are moving now by the time we hit this third layer. So I just take the original from the background and then put it back in there. So now everything kind of flows. See? Wait, oops, forgot to put a 2 in here. There you go. Oops, something wasn't erased. 3, 1. There we go. That's another thing. You know how whenever you're just drawing in general, you can flip a picture backwards? You almost don't have to do that on here, which is, it's good to still flip a picture backwards here, but whenever you show it in motion, whenever we see things in motion, things stick out real easy that aren't supposed to be there. So now you can kind of see the motion of the rocks, the terrain isn't really getting in the way, the background isn't really getting in the way, and you kind of have that. So, yeah, so then you can just, you know, kind of worry about your cool effects that you want to do. What the fuck? Something looks off on that shoulder, like right around here. It looks like there should be the start of something here. Yeah, that looks okay. 3? Connect that up there. So you just kind of tweak it until it's ready for its kind of debut for this, for drawing a sketch. So you can always do like cool little stuff like let's see, like if you want to put some electric or lightning, or if you want to put some hair. I already showed you the hair tutorial, right? So let's show you like some lightning or something. We're gonna put 1, 2, 3. This you can be a little bit messy with. So you can just go. You gotta make that noise though. You gotta go just like that. Otherwise it doesn't work. That's part of the tutorial. You gotta make that noise. If you don't make that noise, then you know it doesn't work. So you know, don't fuck around. Okay, so 2. And you can kind of just do like a little electric shit coming around. That's not the best electric. You guys can make better electric, of course. I'm just, you know, showing you an example of just kind of debris. But don't make it so distracting that you can't see the main character. Like, as you can see on here, is it 2? Is it 1? Right here. I drew it all over the character, like in the face. And people want to see the face. So you don't want to do something like that. So just like that. Don't make it too distracting, too much over the character. If it is over the character, make sure it's light so they can still see their favorite character being electrified. But yeah. I guess to wrap up this tutorial, because we're already on 30 minutes, son of a bitch, I thought we were on 15 minutes. Are you serious? Okay. So just to wrap it up, what you want to do, here, I'll take that off. I'll leave that on. I'll just lower the opacity. If it'll let me. Serious? Alright, there we go. Lower the opacity. So what you can do, remember this blue border is everything inside your animation, so you want to make sure you shrink that. So you can just go to transform, scale, up or down, rotate, you know. Just make sure everything's in the frame that you want to have in the frame. So whenever you make a GIF, everything will be in motion. So boom! That is how you make kind of a shaking, angry scene. Of course, you can draw hair and stuff like that. I will draw another one. There's going to be 2 videos. If the certain somebody who requested this would actually like to see this lined out and stuff, I'll make a part 3 of how you can line this out and how you can draw hair and how you can draw clothes. But essentially, this is kind of what you would do to be able to make a kind of a shaking, angry motion scene. But don't forget to check out part 1. That's a really good example, I think, of how you can kind of get in the mindset of it, and then this is kind of how you can execute it. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and definitely leave me a comment if you guys have any questions about animations or drawing in general. I want to make a video, if not every day, every other day, so definitely drop me those comments and I'll make a video immediately. Whenever I have the time, of course, but I'll make the time. But take care, guys. Have a great day. Phantom Works out.